Hey, this is Hannah, and my TED Talk today is 3 things that I learned in France. I got 3 things for you guys. One, obviously, is France. A lot of French food, a lot of French culture, a lot of French things. 2 is fresh. All the food there is really, really fresh, and all the cooks there really, really like their food fresh. The 3rd is how to become a foodie like me. I'm a foodie. I love to experiment with new food. So going back to the first point is France. Now when I was little, I was a picky eater. I didn't really like anything that was too smelly. I didn't really like any vegetables. I really liked the French fries, the pizza, the hamburgers. I was not the kind of kid that liked a lot of different things. So when my parents were like, we're gonna go to France, I was super stoked. I was really, really excited to learn new things. Everyone has heard of Paris and France, and it's a dream to go there. But what I didn't know is the food. A lot of smelly food, a lot of food that I did not recognize. And unfortunately, as to my surprise, when I first got to France, the dinner that they brought out for me was a fish. And I'm not talking about the fish sticks that I usually liked. It was a actual fish that had eyeballs. It was looking at me weird, like, are you gonna eat me or not? And the scales. And I looked over to my mom as an 11-year-old girl going like, why did you bring me here? I don't like this kind of food. But over the week, I really, really got to enjoy it. And I don't know if it was just because of starvation, I had to eat the food, but I think most of it was because it was really fresh food. They used fresh ingredients. They loved, the French people were super nice. The cooks brought out their food and you could just tell they had such pride in it. That's what Karen Billion discovered too. She wrote an article about how she brought her 2 little girls to France and how they were picky eaters like me. As to her surprise, after the first week or so, the girls really started to enjoy their food. And Karen was really wondering why. Well, she discovered that at the school, the parents would have their kids come back to their homes and they would ask them, not what did you learn today, but what did you eat today? And she thought that was very bizarre, but the reason why is because the kids had like 2 hours in the middle of the day where they just got to eat the fresh food that the cooks made. They got to, learn how to cook. They got to learn how to go and pick vegetables and how to pick fruit. And they really learned a lot. And they began to cook with their mom and they began to do all kinds of things with food. That's because it's just more of an important thing in the French culture. And Karen really thought that America was missing that we're just really too busy to really focus and say, hey, what did you eat today? Instead of, hey, where are you going? What are you doing today? So that's bringing kind of to my second point is freshness. The food there obviously is really, really fresh. And you think, okay, Hannah, France and America, they're 2 different places, halfway across the world, right? But according to greenfood.com, the soil is pretty much the same in France and America, and we could have the same really good food. The only problem is that in America, we're all about production, having really good masses of food instead of the really quality food. And we're not willing to wait until fruit or vegetables in season. We want it right now. So that's kind of where that comes from. And in France, they're more willing to wait for their food. They're more willing to take time and really hone in on those fresh ingredients. And I'm not saying that, America's any less better than Europe. I'm just saying that that's what we're missing. We're missing the part where we can go out and garden with our kids, where we're going out and really picking out the fresh food. We need to have that more implemented everywhere we go. I believe that if we do that, then kids will be more likely to eat their vegetables if they pick them out of the garden. If, they went to a strawberry field and picked out their strawberries, they'll be more likely to eat it. I know that as a kid, I would like to pick out something that I actually pulled out of the garden and I was like, wow, I could eat this, that is a really cool experience for a kid. So that is how I kind of became a foodie. I really like to experiment. I really like to go to new restaurants. I really love to travel, as you can tell. And I'm not saying that you should go to Europe, because I bet that most of you, and including myself, can't afford it on their own. But Europe and different places, like, you can experiment with their food. If you go to Mexico, eat the Mexican food instead of going to an Americanized McDonald's. If you go to Spain, try the Spanish food and what they're making. If you go to France, try the French food. It's all about experimenting, and it's all about tasting the freshness of what other people put into their food, and the effort and the quality of it. So what I want to get out of this talk today is how France really made me a foodie, how it made me recognize how it is fresh, how there is really good food there, and how we can implement that in America, maybe by having, when we get older, having our kids garden with us, or going to a garden, or helping with gardens, or just really liking the food that is brought to us. Because there's nothing worth more than going to a different place and trying their food.